Aspen Ladd. Guys, how do you unpack this? And I will tell you from a personal standpoint, there are few sins greater in this sport for me than missing weight. And that's the wrestler in me, right? Wrestling is the oldest sport in the world. But think about that. Before there was balls and courts and rackets and fields and stadiums, somebody either grabbed someone else, making wrestling the oldest sport, or they punched someone else, making boxing the oldest sport. But every aficionado can agree it was one of those two. So you have a massive database to go back to. And I will tell you now, you will not find 5 examples where a wrestler missed weight. You won't find it. From the beginning of time, it is that rare. I don't know the difference between our sports. There's only a couple of sports in the face of this earth that you have to make weight to be able to compete. There's only a couple of professions that you would not get sued over if you were the employer, if you made an employee weigh in before they could do their job. It's a very rare field, but it happens to be a field that I grew up in. And you just don't miss weight. At the same time, I'm not mad at Aspen Ladd, and I don't know why. Maybe I just really like her. Maybe I believe in her. Maybe if she just says the right stuff. I don't know. I'm just not mad at her. And it's normally the kind of thing that would piss me off. She happens to be 9-1. I didn't realize her record was that great. I didn't know she was that good. But 9-1 is very relevant because how many chances do you get? It doesn't matter who you are. How many chances do you get? Rumble Johnson, who was a box office draw, got released for not making weight. He made his way back and got 2 world title shots. So good things can happen, but if Rumble, who is a marketable, monetizable draw, only got to miss weight so many times, how many for Aspen? I believe Aspen's at 3. In fact, I know she's at 3, unless I'm wrong and she's at 4. So it's like a record-setting amount of time she's missed weight. I don't say this to put her down. I say it to tell you, I don't even know why. I'm not mad at her, but I'm not. I kind of understand. And she had a statement today that I really appreciated where she said, look, I don't have a lot of expertise in this. I don't have a lot of experience. I'm getting better. I'm getting closer. I'm completely at fault here. She apologized to absolutely everybody, including you, the fans, which is the only way that you can handle this. But there was just something about the sincerity when she said, I've got troubles. Some of them are hormone. I screwed this up, but I'm getting better. For some reason, I gave her a pass. And when you are 9-1, when you are a meaningful contender, what do? Because for me, where I'm sitting, and this isn't only the athlete in me, it's more over the coach in me. If I have an athlete who fails and fails a second time, and I'll follow the baseball rule of 3 times and you're out, I don't want her out of the company. I don't want the Rumble Johnson treatment. I don't want her released. I want her to move up a weight class. And there's always some kind of psychological effect on athlete, on trainer, on promoter alike. That if I go down, I'm going to do better. If I could do fine at 45, I'll do better at 35. That means I should be at 25. Like there's just a belief in this, but there is not a historical pattern where it's true. And if you think that you're undersized, right? Because the only reason it's a problem is you think that you're too small. You think. Now that means you came into the sport in the last 20 years. When I did this, I could move from middleweight to light heavyweight to heavyweight, but my first fights ever, we didn't even get on a scale. There was no weigh-in. And at that time, even on the highest of levels, which was the UFC, they only had one division. Royce Gracie and Tank Abbott, they're in the same division. I mean, right, once upon a time, I'm going way back, but if you come through that like I did and you have that mindset, you don't care what your opponent weighs. If you're one of the new age athletes, it is paramount to you what your opponent weighs, and Aspen isn't alone. Her opponent was given the opportunity to take the match, and the opponent said no. She didn't make the weight. That was the agreement. I'm out. I don't fault the opponent in the least. But it speaks to the idea that Aspen is not alone in believing size matters and believing that there is some kind of a benefit there. And everybody does have a weight class. You begin to ask yourself, well, how do I know what mine is? Most people will instantly default to what is the absolute lowest I can get to. whatever I can, the lowest I can get to, regardless of the stress and the strain on my body, that should be my weight class. I would find it very obvious if you cannot make a weight class, but you can make the one above, that's your weight class. That's my opinion. I want to see Aspen get another chance. I like her. Can't tell you any better than that. I like her. I think she's got a beautiful record. I think she's very meaningful. The UFC is not for practice. It is purely for contenders and champions. So you're going to have a very hard time putting Aspen Ladd ever in a title spot situation when you're armed with the fact that the day before, known as the weigh-ins, she could blow the spot. It's tough. So if you can never use her as a contender, that would stop her from ever being a champion. It would preclude her from competing in this organization. That's tough. I just think she's good enough. I think she's looking at it the wrong way. I think she's a 145-pounder. I think there's great opportunity there. I think, right? I think, for God's sakes, the scale agrees with me. Let's give Aspen another chance. But maybe Aspen could meet us in the middle here. Another chance in exchange at the appropriate weight class, which is obviously, without question, 145 pounds.